So a few months ago, I got a call from my old lady saying she couldn't open the liftgate because it was stuck closed. Now this was a big problem because in order to have an efficient grocery getter, you need a fully functioning liftgate. I didn't record the fix due to my busy schedule, so today I'm going to show you how I got the job done. I did a YouTube search and found a guy with tiny arms that was able to reach behind the liftgate panel and pull a rod to open the liftgate. Never mind the fact that he didn't show himself doing it, my arms are too big for that, so I was only left with two options. And because there's no way to remove the panel with the liftgate closed without breaking or cutting it to access the lock mechanism itself, we decided to settle for option 2. If you look just above the liftgate handle on your ZJ, you'll notice there's a rectangular seam that borders your license plate, and that's actually called the license plate panel. For removal, I just used a flat blade screwdriver to pry at the four corners. Once the panel is popped out, you'll need to remove the two license plate bolts by twisting and pulling outward. For the connector, just lift up on the tab and pull up. Once the license plate panel is out of the way, you'll see 4 large openings, but you still won't be able to see what's going on down there. Just remember, we have no problems, only solutions. Take out your cell phone and hit that record button. Then stick the end that has the camera and the flash inside the opening that's furthest to the left. Now we have perfect view of what's going on with the mechanism inside. The reason the liftgate wouldn't open, even though the threaded rod is still attached to the clip, is because the spring that actuates the lever moving the thread rod up and down was rusty, so it didn't have enough displacement to push the lever down to raise the rod and open the liftgate. Another reason your liftgate won't open is because the threaded rod isn't attached to the clip at all. But either way, we have to open the liftgate, remove the panel, and make adjustments. So if the threaded rod is still attached to the clip, you need to remove it. I'm using a pair of vice grips so I have the leverage I need to lift that threaded rod up far enough to open the liftgate. Once you have the liftgate open, start removing the 14 Phillips head screws along the outside of the panel. Don't forget to remove the 2 screws covered by the fabric. Once you have the screws out, the panel will be held in place with plastic clips, so you'll have to tug at it to free it from the liftgate. So here's the liftgate panel, and you can see a couple clips broke when I took it down, but that's okay because the screws are enough to hold it in place by themselves. I used a box cutter to cut part of the weather seal that was in the way. And if you look up here, you'll see we now have full access to our lock mechanism. So if you look back here and this threaded rod wasn't attached to the clip, then lift up on the rod to remove any slack and press it back into the clip. It's also important to note that the clip is more towards the top of the threads, then the lever won't lift it high enough to release the latch, which means your liftgate won't open. So make sure the clip is pressed in towards the bottom of the threads. A lot of people put a zip tie here or spot weld it to make sure it doesn't move again. But in my case, the rod was still attached and the culprit was this rusty spring that wouldn't allow enough displacement when the handle was grabbed to push down on the lever, lift the rod, and release the latch. So I sprayed it with some good old-fashioned WD-40 and it worked like new. So to better understand how this assembly works, the threaded rod is attached to the release lever at the bottom. Up top, the threaded rod is attached to this clip that's attached to the lever, which gets actuated by the black tab that's a part of the door handle, and the spring is what flexes, allowing the tab to push down far enough when the handle is lifted. After checking to make sure the liftgate worked properly, you can put the license plate panel back in, but the problem is it wasn't designed to be taken out, so doing so broke the 4 attachment points, but that's okay. I used this gasket maker to make a new seal for the panel, then reattach both bulbs and the connector, then carefully put the panel back in place. I drilled 2 holes on each side of the panel, then used 4 screws from the liftgate panel to fasten down the license plate panel.